Okay, family. So the Daily Wrap crew, or the Daily Wrap Up, something like that. So if y'all seen that debate with Frank, okay, we got to talk about that tonight, probably live or something. I might go live at like 10 or 11 or something. Y'all, this man knew absolutely nothing about us. Okay, and he feels like they don't even have culture. You know what I'm saying? Even like, this is why they run around saying we don't have culture, because they don't have culture. Yo, I mean, everything that he was saying just gave FBA the green light. You know what I'm saying? They don't believe in Pan-Africanism, so it's really stupid for us to be sitting up here focusing on some goddamn Pan-Africanism. I mean, y'all, I mean, man, like, and like, oh my God, like I said, he knew nothing about us. Absolutely. How, I don't even know how they even did that. They shouldn't even did that. He knew nothing about civil rights. He knew nothing. Okay, and calling himself a scholar and speaking on Black American shit. This is why we must delineate. This is why we can, because they know we are different people. We just gotta own that shit. You know what I mean? I ain't saying we ain't, you know, we ain't. They know, but they know who we are, and they know that we are different. They know that they are different, and they know they trying to stop what we doing. And it's just like, oh my God, it just gave me the green light. You know what I'm saying? Anybody stuck on Pan-Africanism, I feel like y'all just, you're not making sense right now. But we might talk about it later on live. Peace and blessings, y'all.
Now, once again, everyone, including the Asian community, is out here assessing the relationship with Black Americans. Why? Why does everybody want to assess that relationship all of a sudden? It's amazing how a little bit more than a year into very strict delineation, how everybody's just trying to recap and figure out what the problems are. I don't get it. I don't get it, because everybody, you know, felt that they was better off and we were lazy and all of that, right? So I want you to hear what this young Asian woman has to say. And it's definitely nothing against her, but I just want you to hear her, you know, trying to explain about her community.
Seen a few comments like this with, you know, Asians and Black people fighting in my comment section, and honestly it shows how little we actually talk about the history behind all of this. The tension didn't just magically appear. It was shaped by decades of laws, segregation, stereotypes, and political narratives that pushed our communities apart. When Asian immigrants first came to the US, they weren't allowed to live just anywhere. Segregation forced them into Black and brown neighborhoods because those were the only areas open to anyone who wasn't white. So Asians and Black Americans were physically close but not always connected. Different languages, different histories, limited communication, misunderstandings grew out of that. Then in the 1960s, during the Civil Rights Movement, the US created the model minority myth, the idea that Asian Americans were successful, quiet, and proof that racism doesn't exist. That stereotype was never meant to lift Asians up. It was meant to contrast Asians against Black Americans.
Well, young lady, let me say something, right? And I'm a type of person, I don't have no issues with no group of people. I don't. But I am a student of history, and I do believe in calling things right what it is. Realistically, you may be a person that's cool. Maybe some people that in your community think just like you and want to be cool, but here's the problem. You mentioned the model minority myth. White folks put that out there, but a lot of the people in your community took that name as a badge of honor. They took that name as a badge of honor to say, you see, well, look, we are the model minority, and we're not like Black Americans that's always trying to get things stirred up. But what we were stirring up was actually for, you know, human rights, right? So your community took that badge and wore it like honor. Then now you fast forward to today, it's not really a good name because it kind of showed that you went along with white supremacy. That's number one. Number two, yes, there were Asian people that fought for civil rights and human rights. Yes. But let's call it what it is. They were individuals. It wasn't the whole community. If we had the whole community, or even half, 80% of the community, even more, fight for human rights, civil rights, alongside Black people, it wouldn't be no discussion. But you know good and well that did not happen. So these were a minority of Asians, right? There's always going to be a minority of other groups that's going to stand for what's right. But the tensions a lot of times came when the white people put y'all in the Black neighborhoods. And then what they were doing when a lot of y'all came in through different wars and stuff like that, so like Vietnam War or Korean War, different places like that, they gave.
All right, racists.
You not fab like that to be doing all of that.
Learn your place, earn your spot.
So why are you mad at Black Americans for being better? Your envy has turned into a hatred that literally makes no sense. You're burning inside with a bitter, choking realization that from the very beginning, the true indigenous people of this land have been and always will be better than you. And this isn't just white people. This is everyone that is not a copper-colored melanated person. You cast outward hate and jealousy towards the people who do not deserve this treatment. You shame them for violence and crime that is manufactured and faked in the media to propagandize superiority. The original people have a capacity for a grace that your racist spirit cannot even comprehend. Look at the evidence. Black people could unleash a wrath on everyone, and they simply choose to be better. Their ancestors had the divine authority to ignore the filthy boat, also known as the USS Incest, packed full of savage colonizers. But they didn't do that. They were better than that. And the reward for being better? Cruelty, because you knew you could never be better at humanity. Your ancestors backstabbed the people that made it possible for any of us to be here. It's like your hatred burns hotter because you know that Black Americans' restraint is not a weakness. It is a proof of strength you do not possess. It's the clearest demonstration that the original people operate on a higher moral frequency. Racist America, you know this. You see Black brilliance in art and in music and in science and in culture. Industries you had to bar Black Americans from legally, just to give yourselves a head start. And you still lost. You hate Black people because their mere existence is a living, breathing report card on your own moral and spiritual failure. To admit that the original people are better would force you to confront the truth of your own profound lowness. It would also mean that the people that you have spent centuries trying to destroy are in fact your moral and spiritual superiors in every conceivable way. So you cling to your hatred. It's the only thing that keeps you up at night. It's the lie that you tell yourselves to avoid the shattering conclusion that the savages you invented in your head were a reflection in the mirror the whole time.
Came from?
No, I don't. Give me too many
Wait,
history lessons.
no.
I can verify.
Because you don't know
I'm
the
not going to
history.
follow you because you're not a history expert.
No.
to me.
Freeman's Bank?
I've heard of it. I'm not familiar.
So to start in New York, how much can you block? How much
I
can you
don't
buy?
know those.
Zero.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Zero. They won't allow it. So in fact,
No,
it's not
I don't know.
the experiment.
The what?
The flea experiment.
No. So I don't know. So I can't speak about it.
And
I don't know.
And you understand that to be a fact, correct?
I don't know.
But a gaper delay is, right? A gaper delay.
This nigga don't know nothing. Yeah. I don't think anything that Frank says, Dave is not at least somewhat aware of or have some knowledge on. But there are multiple things that this tether pretends he doesn't know. Sit up here act like it's ignorance, and I don't think it is, baby. I think it's weaponized incompetence. I think it's intellectually dishonest. He know what the fuck he doing, man. This nigga is unworthy. He is unworthy of speaking on us. He's unqualified. How are you going to sit up here and say you don't know these things, sir? But you're up here trying to talk to Black Americans about what we do and do not do. Anybody who's a journalist, especially as old as this nigga is, as old as you are, there's no way that you don't know some of these basic Black American facts. There's no way that you don't know that we have a culture. There's no way that you're trying to move the goalpost the way he is and not actually be anti-Black.
Statistically, a white person in your Asian spaces is safer than having other minorities there. Okay, let's check out some stats. Oh no! Well, isn't this awkward? This must be the gang violence they were talking about. This is not even counting the two biggest gangs in America, ICE and the police. Perpetrators tends to be white. Of course, perpetrators overwhelmingly male. Male crackers, always liars. Don't trust the white man, nephew. Your life subscription is not gonna be renewed, nephew. What's up with this? I thought the immigrants are threatening your lives, taking your jobs, taking your hoes. Let's check out property crimes in 2023. This is supposedly the peak of the border crisis. Arson, whites on top. Burglary, whites on top. Embezzlement, whites on top. Oh no! Fraud, they're still on top. Can you imagine adding far-right grifters onto these numbers? Larceny theft, motor vehicle theft, stolen property, they're all on top. What the fuck, man? I thought you guys was a civilized one. Why do you steal so much? Well, you know, at least the rich whites doesn't steal. Nope. They just do it via tax codes and capitalism. Let's see how you guys voted. Oh no! More than half of you voted for a rapist! By the way, these numbers are tainted because we have mixed people that claim they're people of color ancestries but still behaves like whites, and we have a lot of native pretenders. And so really, this number should be like 70%. Statistics my ass.
Culture. Why is it so important for us to vanguard what we have and speak up and speak out?
Gatekeeping is essential. Every other culture does it. Every other culture does it. The The Asian community didn't take too kindly to Bruce Lee showing outsiders what was going on, but people forget Bruce Lee was half Jewish.
Wow.
I think the problem is it's not about delineation. I think if you have a Haitian flag in your profile on Instagram, sac passe. If you have a Jamaican flag or a Nigerian flag or a Ghanaian flag in your Instagram bio, hats off to you. God bless you. But it's funny when we say we're foundational Black Americans and we want to delineate, we're being divisive. I really don't understand. Well, I do. And I will stand 10 toes down on this. And I like Frank Sanu. He's a really nice person. He said to Nancy, "You have no culture. What is the African American culture? Twerking?" Well, no. See, here's the thing. He said on that clip that Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, have no culture. But he then got on the Daily Wrap Up Crew podcast. Shout out to those boys; they're phenomenal.
Yep.
And because I said it when I reacted to this clip. You know, you are going to respect my culture, or I'm going to force you to. And I did. When he got on that show, though, he said, "None of us have culture. I'm from Benin. Benin wasn't a country this many years ago." And da 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 da. But when I started breaking down Seneca Village and Eatonville and Wilmington, North Carolina, and Wilmington, Delaware, and Chester, Pennsylvania, and all the places, Philadelphia, all the places that foundational Black Americans have lost when they tried to build their own. Oh, I don't want a history lesson. I don't want that. What happens is, I think a lot of non-FBA people who happen to be Black like to be intellectually disingenuous when it comes to who we are. They love to be intellectually disingenuous when it comes to what we have contributed. They love to be intellectually disingenuous when it comes to the rights that we have secured for them. Immigration rights, 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, so that they can have the freedoms that they enjoy. Because the thing of it is, respectfully, if in fact your country that you ride for was so great, why aren't you fixing your country? You're over here bad mouthing the people who built the country that now the freedoms you have, you enjoy. The other part of that is you'll have people like Frank say, "Well, I got a scholarship and I did this and I did that. And why don't you do this? And why don't you do that?" What non-FBA Black people tend to forget is that they tend to have an immigrant experience, which is different than a foundational Black American experience. Here's what I mean. If you are a Nigerian American and you get out of line, what can we do to you? We can deport you. If you're a Ghanaian American and you get out of line, we can deport you. If you are Afro-Brazilian, we can deport you. If you are Jamaican, we can deport you. Where are they going to deport me and you to, Caleb?
They have nowhere to take us to.
This is our homeland.
That's right.
And when people get mad at it, now you're in the everybody who's Black is not a direct descendant from slavery. It goes deeper than that. I need y'all to pick up They Came Before Columbus by Ivan Van Sertima. I need you to read Leroy Bennett Jr. Before the Mayflower. Even the writings of Christopher Columbus, for you people who like those things whitewashed. He thought that he saw and described the people that he saw, the indigenous people, as Black, for lack of a better term. So, yeah, we have every right to delineate, because y'all don't have a problem when a Haitian becomes the first Black neurosurgeon that specializes in underwater cerebral palsy surgery. Y'all say, "Oh, look at that Haitian. That's Haitian that did that right there." It's not we all Black and that's divisive and I just want all Black people to win. It ain't all Black people's win. It's Haitian Americans win when that happens. Well, foundational Black Americans have said, listen, this is who we are. You ain't us. We love you. You're a cousin. We love you, cousin. But you ain't my brother. That's it. That's all. And if you got a problem with that, that says a lot more about the fact that you're triggered and you're upset that you can't hide behind the cloak of being a foundational Black American any longer. That's why Roland gets so triggered and called people dumbasses in between bites of his ho-hos, Twinkies, chicken fingers, whatever he's eating this week.
I can hold my gun like this. It's the law. Philadelphia Crime Code 6108 says I can hold my long arm in my hand. Just can't hit my finger on the trigger, which is not. So don't ask me to do nothing that's against the law. Can I help you? I'm out here minding my business. I'm out here to control and watch you. Anything else? Because you guys like beating up our teenagers. Somebody sent us a video of y'all beating up a teenager.
Y'all, wasn't me.
It was y'all. You a police officer. You part of that. You part of that. It was y'all. It was y'all. If you don't like to be labeled in with slave catchers, you shouldn't have taken that oath, sellout. You are a sellout. You wearing their shit. You are a sellout. You ain't protecting shit. You got to do whatever they tell you to, including hurt your people. Because you walking up to me and I don't like you and I don't trust you and I don't got no conversation with you. So unless you're investigating the crime, leave me the fuck alone.
When I'm here,
I don't care. I got a gun license right here. This is legal. Philadelphia Crime Code 6108. Move your car out of people's way and get the fuck out of my face. Thank you, officer.
Have a good day.
You have a bad one. Sell out. Fuck out of here. You smiling for a sellout? You know where you came from? Slave catchers hired you to help catch their property, which was us. Slave catcher controls the origin of that cash. You bitch ass nigga. The fuck out of here. Go where you're needed. We don't need your help. Get out the fucking street. Like your supervisor said, get out the fucking street. Get out the fucking street. Go with him. Go with him. Get out the fucking street. You blocking traffic. Get out the fucking street. Get the fuck out the street. Thought you was gonna disarm somebody?
The Caucasian folks, raise your hand. What this flag is, do you know what it represents? Now, do black people know what the flag is?
Slavery, of course.
Okay, that's what you, okay. And we getting ready to set the record straight.
Come on, let's go ahead and do it.
Because I know y'all see my video out there displaying this flag. Now, today it's about setting the record straight and telling the truth and shaming the devil, as they used to say, right? All Caucasian people know that this flag belongs to the black people. You know that, didn't you? When I talk to the Caucasian people and ask them, do y'all know, they said, we're so glad that you displayed that flag because we can't tell y'all people that this flag is really y'all. This the flag to the land. This the tree of life.
What's up, Doc?
This is the 13th tribe.
Yeah.
That's led by ISIS, who they call Diana now. Okay? So whoever displayed the flag, this flag was made by a melanated woman, a black woman. How many of you knew that? Okay, at least y'all can be my backup. Okay? You know why I'm displaying this flag? Because I got the land.
Come on, talk to him. Talk to him, Empress.
Why y'all think I'm wearing this and hoo-hoo and ha-ha with y'all? Because y'all don't know who I am. This ain't no fashion show today. I'm barefoot. Come on, man. Today. And my Miss America wave was all right, because that's what y'all used to. But this was a much deeper message today.
Come on now.
This was about me and John, other than the fact we get ready to marry you all. We get ready to celebrate in a minute. But this flag, I display in my car because I have the land.
All right. Talk to him, Empress. All right. Come on, talk to him.
I got the land. I got the 3 million acres they took from us.
That's the flag to the land.
And Mr. Rothschild gave it back to us.
Come on,
to me, held in trust.
Talk to him, Empress.
I had to go to Egypt, and I had to go to London.
Come on now.
I've been to South Africa.
Come on, y'all better wake up.
And these people know who I am, but you know what? I can't move forward because y'all don't know who I am, and so I can't moved forward with the vision because y'all still over there in 3D. It said, come out and up under her.
Come out.
Him.
Come out of her. Come out of him.
Y'all was looking for a man in the sky, looking for the donkey to come and all of that, and it's always been in front of you all the time. But I can't advertise.
Come on now, talk.
Because you have to recognize. I had to recognize, he knew. This flag right here, you need to go get one and get rid of that other flag. That's a military flag that we've been under, and we've been up under a war.
Y'all listen, pay attention.
So, I'm the Empress. Shalagi means principal people. We were the principal people on the land. We were the people on the land, the melanated people. We were the ones that wearing these hats, smoking the peace pipe.
Come on now, talk to him.
But before it was this, it was this. Egypt is us, Isis. And Mother Divine Mother is going to tell you about these shortly while we are doing what we're doing, getting dressed for the second half of what we getting ready to do. We getting ready to throw down, but y'all, first you got to get something on your mind before you can learn how to dance. Right?
Come on now.
You know what you're dancing to. You got to dance to the right tune with the right mindset. You can't dance no more to the lies and the deceit. You can't dance to it no more, y'all. You got to be dancing to the fact that this is our flag. And we need to display this flag, and more of our people need to display it. And it needs to be displayed this way, that way, instead of this way. And it's got a different spirit to it when it's horizontal than versus when it's up and down, because it symbolizes the X chromosome, the DNA. Okay, so upside down, that's the blood, and that's the feminine energy. And they took it and mocked us. Okay, they took the flag, the KKK took the flag and the swastika. The swastika is ours too, by the way.
Oh yes,
it's ours. It's a healing. It's a will. That's inside of you. It's describing you. Don't run from it. Go get it. Wear it proudly. Because it's your heritage, not theirs. Okay? That's it. It's us. Now, this flag. Turn it back. This flag. This the peace flag. This the peace flag, and not, I don't know, something happened to this. This is the peace flag. We're supposed to be displaying this flag instead of the other flag that got the fringes and stuff on it. This is the flag that we at peace. We're not at war.
Correct. Five presidents and commander-in-chief.
That's correct. Okay, chief of the corporation. Okay, you know they take our stuff and use it.
All the time.
And so we gotta take our stuff back.
Right.
We gotta flying this flag because this flag, I truly do have the Lodial title, and I do have the deed of trust to the land. I have it. So I drive a Genesis and I drive a Chrysler car. Because you know why? A lot of them, what they want y'all to overstand or don't want you to understand is that all the cars and the fluff and all the waving and all of that and all the 50 cars behind them and all that glamour. I'm just like someone said, a spirit in the wind, going where I'm supposed to go and doing what I'm supposed to do. Because I'm not attached to this world. I'm not attached. Y'all got to stop being attached physically. You do. So.
All glory go to the Creator. It's an honor to be here today. But I love the theme, American healing. Well, first let's think about something. Where did America come from? Have it always been America? Or was it just created to be America? Who are the real Americans? America keep changing and changing and changing. Let's go back in time when the American Indians looked like I look and roamed the southeast part of the United States freely. I love what the mayor said. We have to tell the truth. We cannot heal America till we fix the foundation. Can we start right there? We're here today to talk about the history of the Black Indians. In my process of talking about it, I'm going to use some parables to deal with trying to show you how we have been altered from who we are now, or from who we were then to who we are now. Geographic, the land is here. And I find that the land have been altered in names. And what the names is, I'm going back 250 BC when they said Shafukta people were here in Louisiana as we know it today. The Shafukta people also referred to themselves as Shatta. Being that they referred to themselves as Shatta, that was who they were. Shafukta was the nation. That was their people. No difference than today I live in the United States. I live in Louisiana. I live in Bonfacai, right outside of Slidell. I live in a place that has an address called whatever my address is, and street name. Okay, this is like your geographic zone. And when the Indians were living in Shafukta Nation, they were Shatta people, and they lived in villages. Different villages had different names. What they did to us is like the chicken and the egg with the duck. And I like to tell people, who we are today is what someone told us we were. It's not who we started out. I hear a lot of black people who are Black Indians refer to themselves as saying, my grandmother was an Indian. Okay. Grandmother's an Indian. What are you? I'm African American, colored, or Creole, or whatever names we use in this area. And my problem is, how do you get from an Indian grandmother to be an African American, colored, Creole? Well, how you get there is because someone else does this. They give you labels. And we have a right to accept the label or reject it. Indian is an accepted label to an extent, and then it's also a controversial label. Native Americans or American natives would be more acceptable because we were here already. First people would be acceptable, but we have allowed ourselves to accept titles: Indian, Creole, African American. Very controversial when you're trying to talk to people about this, because we're so set on this is the name we've been called always. No more have we been called these names going back in history is no more than the names of these towns is what was in history. So, I'm going back to Metairie. My grandfather and them called Metairie Chapatula. Chapatula was a village, but Chapatula also was named after a chief. We got to look at New Orleans and go back in time before New Orleans. New Orleans only come in with the 1803 era in a way to the New Orleans we know today, latter part of the 1700s. Prior to that, what was New Orleans in the 1600s before the first Europeans start coming into the New Orleans area? And then you'll start finding it falling underneath the Chifuncta area. I have had the pleasure of having DOT to give me paperwork dating Chifuncta back to 250 BC. That's prior to slavery trade and all of this. Then someone could easily say, well, Chief, that doesn't mean the Indians were black or the natives were black. Well, let's look at what the earth say. When they dig into the ground, they're finding black people in that era. They're not finding European-looking people. They're finding black people. They're so black they can be compared to being an African of today. So the earth giving its version also. And what I'm meaning, they're digging up bodies from 300 years ago. They're digging up bodies 1,200 years ago. They're digging up artifact that dates back to 250 BC and beyond. There are documents that say that we was here 30,000 years ago. We need to look into those things. Not relying on what they have taught us. And those who are listening, I would like for you to go on the internet or Google this book called The Lies My Teacher Told Me. Read that book. Because a lot of stuff that we were told were lies. And the lies was there to change the history of the area. And I don't care where Europeans go, they change the name. They put new names there after them and they people or where they came from. And they don't never worry about how much of your history they are altering. It's all about building and creating a history. That's what they were doing, and creating wealth. We're looking at greed, okay? And greedy people like to put their labor on other people's stuff. And so we've been robbed. We've been robbed of our history, our culture, our language. We haven't been robbed of our beliefs. Our language had its own belief. Our people had its own belief. So as we begin to look back and say, I'm Catholic, I'm Baptist, I'm Methodist, that's another history we need to go back and see, where did we start? When did we get converted into the religions that the Europeans brought to these islands? Okay? Now, as the European came, let's go over this one right quick. One of the geographic things that we have lost is at first they called this the Caribbean. At first, they called this the Floridas, which means below the 31st parallel. There used to be at least about at the 32nd parallel coming down the Floridas. And the Floridas ran all the way out into the Caribbean island, and this was all a part of the Caribbean island. Look at what the original people or first people of the islands look like. They're black. So we all looked alike. But something happened on this side of the Gulf of Mexico that gives us this new identity called United States of America. And United States of America didn't get here until 1803. To us. This was a foreign land down here. United States was above the 31st parallel in 1798. So this was not United States. That's not that far back when we go to looking to see how long this been America. It's not that far. We're just going 300 years back. This is a baby part of a United States. And we have allowed people to make us think that this has been United States forever. We allow people to teach us that slavery been here from the same time it was in the 13 colonies to when it was in Georgia. That's not the truth. So, if you know your history, you can follow your history beyond the 300 years. You'll find where you come from, where you fit, before you got that label, before they took the egg and put it under the duck. See, because what I'm talking about, that egg got put under the duck after the United States takeover. Even the Spanish and the French, which they wasn't good to be working with either, because they was in it for greed, they didn't even really try to take the egg and put it under the duck. They dealt with the chicken as the chicken and the duck as the duck. The swan is the swan. But somewhere when United States took over this area by decree, which is called West Florida, see all these names? You get lost. You got to sit down and write these names down, backtrack them. So when this became United States, it was West Florida prior to that. And under West Florida, it ran from the Mississippi on the latter point, from the Mississippi to Florida, to Pensacola. Prior to that, it ran from the Mississippi to the Black Warrior River, which the best way to say the Black Warrior, to bring it to your point, we're talking about going all the way from here to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, to the Black River. That's a long ways. Long ways. And I like the name Black Warrior. Tuscaloosa means Black Warrior. Why would a white or yellow Indian call themselves Black Warrior?
Malcolm X stated that the rock landed on us after he returned across the waters because he learned new things. He learned that the rock had truly landed on us and that we were from these lands. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. also stated in his I Have a Dream speech that we are held in exile in our own homeland.
The Negro is still languished in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land.
Now we have a lot of scholars out there and individuals are missing the point. How can you be held in exile in your own homeland without it being your own homeland? The tens of millions of black Americans, or rather Indians, who disappeared in 1492 did not all die in the Holocaust inflicted within America. Hundreds of thousands were shipped to Europe and Africa as Indian slaves. The whole slave trade story was given to all of us in reverse. A mass colony of Africans were not shipped from Africa to America. The truth is that black Indians were shipped from America to Europe. They were then shipped from Spain to Africa as commodity for African resources. These black Indians, now mistaken as African Americans, were shipped back to America and classified as African slaves. This part of our history is what the school systems failed to mention in history programs. The American Society was an organization formed in 1816 with the purpose of transporting free African Americans, or rather Indian slaves, classified as Negroes back then, from the United States to settle on the west coast of Africa. During the decades, the society operated and transported more than 12,000 people to Africa, and the African nation of Liberia was founded. The term African American to refer to all black people was endorsed only since 1988, but was against the desires of the majority of black people. In fact, the term was endorsed by only 5 people, including Reverend Jesse Jackson and Ramona Edlin, leading the charge as a result of a gathering called the African American Summit, without the input of the majority of black people. Author Avis J. Smith went to the district court in Washington, D.C. to stand against this term, as well as against the notion that a small group of powerful individuals should be able to compel the masses into adopting it. The systematic destruction of the Native Americans, or rather Native Indigenous Aborigine people, and their way of life was not only one of recorded history's greatest tragedies, but as with the slave trade, deeply spiritually wounding to all involved. The utter decimation of their culture is one of the most shameful aspects of history, the extent of the damage still being downplayed and denied entry into textbooks and history lessons to this day. I'm just here to make you think.
The Yamasee tribe was critical to the formation of the Low Country, but very few people know their story.
Now, one developer is doing its part to preserve the past on land he owns, which was once belonged to the tribe. News 3's Andrew Davis has that story now from Seabrook.
The Yamasee tribe, Senator Tim Scott's office, archaeologists, homeowners, and developers all at the same table, all connected for one goal, protecting history while developing the future.
It's really for us a thing of respect. We're being given respect and we're being honored as well by the Bull Point Association.
The meeting is the first of its kind, and it comes after 13,000 different artifacts were found inside Bull Point Plantation over the years, all belonging to the Yamasee Indian tribe.
Knowing that there's artifacts here that were uncovered, it's important to make sure that we showcase the history, not just bury it in the past.
It was once a trading ground and ceremonial gathering place for the tribe. Several spots were already declared historic. Billy Gavigan is the area's new developer. He wants to respect all of the history in the plantation and the tribe as he builds.
A lot of tribes have not been included in these type of meetings, and it creates a disruption because when you basically say, hey, we have no respect for your ancestors, we're not respecting your graves or your ceremonial practices.
There's a way to showcase history and to bring it forward and also to have an economic prosperity with it.
Homes have been built on or near those sacred grounds in the past. The goal is to build a better future through a partnership, tribe and developer together.
It doesn't have to be a situation where you have to hide or be manipulative. You know, when you run across Native American artifacts or anything that pertains to Native American people and thinking that it's going to stop or halt a particular project, there are those of us who accept and understand that oftentimes those artifacts that you find are found for a reason.
Hopefully this sets the model for the state and, you know, for some of the federal delegates to understand that we've got a history here and how to bring it forward together.
This is the first of several meetings between the tribe and the people and the developer himself. The hope is that they can come to an agreement within the plantation. Outside, they hope to help build a cultural events center so everyone can understand the history and the tradition of the Yamasee tribe. Andrew Davis, WSAV News 3.
Trail of Tears. So this is 1830s.
Yeah.
And these people do not look like the Indians that we are told lived there. I mean, these people look African, but they're not. They're Native Americans.
Okay.
So I think that's one of the best ones that I've seen.
Yeah.
This is part of a larger collection that I found on an archive. But this one just seems so. I mean, they have a very dark complexion.
Yes, they do.
You know,
very much so.
And I think people need to look into this.
Yeah, I agree. Because it doesn't follow the narrative.
Like how many people are actually, you know, what, like they think they're from Africa, but they're already in their homeland.
Yes. Yes, and I said that I've been saying this for years about America, that, you know, we're told that anybody that wasn't Caucasian or indigenous was taken there as a slave from Africa, and I've argued that there were too many people. You know, the amount of people that they claim were brought from Africa, it doesn't stack up with you know, the number of ships and the period of time that it happened within. It doesn't stack up. I think that these people were convinced or told that they were slaves, and I think their history was whitewashed and they were discredited, and this is the Moors that we're talking about. And I wrote that in my first book. I'm totally on board with where you are.
Yeah, but I mean,
buildings here for you all to use. They're empty. There are hundreds of them across Iron County. Take whatever house you like. Take the farms. Take everything. Everything here is available, and it's all completely empty. And it was Iron County.
Yeah.
So you know, it was there printed in black and white. Somebody actually giving a sermon on the fact that you could take a building or a farm that with no.
And when you look at the world fairs, when you look at some of the illogical scale of some of those cities, I mean, we see the ones that you know existed during the age of photography, but there must have been a lot more before that.
Yeah.
It's just the conquest of a large continent.
Yes, absolutely, and that's.
Now, I found out that the Greeks, who were supposed to have been the founders of civilization because they were the first civilized white folks, but the Greeks got their civilization from the Egyptians, and the Egyptians were black people. And the Greeks passed their civilization on to the Romans, and the Romans were a very stupid, dumb bunch of people for the most part. They couldn't retain it. They lost it. They had a dark age in Europe for 500 years. And then another bunch of Africans, the Moors, from North Africa, into Spain and started civilization all over again. So instead of Europe civilizing Africa, Africa has civilized Europe 2 times. That's what you have to keep in mind.
All right, racists.
I have officially been demonetized on YouTube, which was my sole form of income. YouTube was my main moneymaker.
Let's talk about the new cost of doing business as a racist idiot. For decades, racism was a guaranteed grift. It was a new career path. Once upon a time, you could wrap yourself in hate and monetize the incompetence, and literally get rich while performing for an audience of cowards who aren't even brave enough to be loud and racist themselves. These people have had multiple examples of how this is a failed business model, yet they still continue to prove that they are monkeys by nature. We just watched a literal spider monkey jump from one tree to the next, knowing that it was gonna fall. But like the award-winning author Nicki Minaj once said, monkey see, monkey do. And the monkey of the day is Lily Gaddis. Lily Gaddis, another would-be influencer of ignorance, thought she could build her brand on the oldest, cheapest product available. Raw, unseasoned racism. She filmed herself serving up the same tired slurs, thinking it was her meal ticket. And what happened? Her main source of income vanished into thin air with the click of a terminate button. Just like that. This is the equation they're too stupid to comprehend. Racism equals loss. It's no longer a hidden subsidy. It's a bill that's due immediately. Platforms will demonetize you. Employers will fire you. Brands will drop you, which in turn makes you lose your family. And you should have had enough examples by now to know that you will not get away with racist grifting. The receipts are public. The consequences are documented. Yet you still do it. You are willing to burn down your entire lives for one more hit. And now that we can all see the price of blatant racism, we must continue to ignore these clowns. Let them enjoy the silence. It's all they can afford.
I realized why American kids are so dumb and only know one language is because they were trying to wipe out the American Indians. They had a whole bunch of languages here, and they forced everybody into public schooling, and even immigrant kids growing up here, it's hard for them to remember their own language, whether you're Latino, Mexican, Asian, whatever. People forget their languages when they start getting in the system.
When I say Black Americans aren't African, all of a sudden it's, there are 54 countries in Africa. Of course I know. Which African country are we from? Which one? Quickly. Tell us. Which African country are Black Americans from? You want us to be African so bad. Claim Africa, they said. Stop denying Africa, they said. Which country? I know you're going to say, do some DNA ancestry. DNA ancestry admits blatantly to you it's for entertainment purposes and it is not science. You can actually call them yourself and ask them yourself, does the African in African American denote Africa the continent? You know what they're going to tell you? No. Go play with somebody that doesn't possess common sense. I'm not the one.
All right, racists.
Correa's husband was detained this week. He has already been placed on expedite removal.
That's unfair. You were warned, point blank, over and over. For generations, Black Americans spelled out the blueprint for what was coming. They mapped the entire playbook of elite control and cultural dismantling because they've been living on that battlefield for years. Black Americans have said that those immigration laws aren't about safety. They're a test run, and they're coming for everyone's citizenship next. Your response? You called them paranoid. Black Americans said, the policies favoring the ultra-rich are a trap. They'll drain your community too and leave you with nothing. Your response? You said Black Americans were playing the victim. The original people said the cultural attack, the book bans, the history erasure, the language policing. That doesn't stop with us. That machine grinds up everyone who isn't at the very top. You laughed and joined in. And now, policies have turned and bitten the hands of the very people who voted for them. You racists applauded of the cultural, historical, and origin erasure of Black Americans. And now your history is being erased. And what about the stay-at-home moms? You're being left for broke, divorced, overweight, unattractive, and begging for help by the same men who built their entire lives around racism. Could have interjected and had the bravery to check your men. And now who do you all come crying to? The Black Americans you mocked, ignored, and actively voted against. You want their help, their strategy, their resilience, the very things you spent lifetimes dismissing as drama or weakness. Well, the answer is no. The lesson is free, but the tuition is now due. The true Americans gave you the cheat codes to the system, and you used them to try and hack the people's lives. You were told the house was made of cards, and you called them crazy while you kept stacking floors. And now that the whole thing is collapsing, don't look at the architects of survival and then ask for a blueprint. You already had it, and you blew it. Now you get to live in the ruin you were too arrogant to see coming.
If you really want to not offend people, stop calling people African Americans. There's a lot of black races that are not of African descent. Certain Indian tribes have very dark skin. There were people who were here in America even before us that had dark skin, and they're out in the sun all the time, or what? Who knows what? And they may look even darker than they really are. All Negroes are colored people, but not all colored people are Negroes.